Hello everyone, what are you expecting today? Because whatever you expect, that's exactly what you're going to receive. Today you're in for a treat. I'm going to share with you how I manifested a multimillionaire partner. And I want you to observe my state of mind before, during, and after the relationship. Because I believe it's very important for you to grasp onto the mental state, the mindset, because that's what manifests. So to give you a little background, I grew up in a family of 9 children. I'm the oldest. I knew what luck looked like, felt like, smelled like, all of that, right? And I believe because of that lack, I had a big desire for a big contrast. But it must have been at a subconscious level that I wanted a multimillionaire, because when I manifested him, I was surprised. So what happened? This was during Christmas, before Christmas. I went to a cocktail party and I met a wonderful, powerful woman here in the city in real estate. And a couple of weeks later, she and I were taking a walk in the neighborhood on a Saturday morning. We have gotten to know each other. And she said, well, yeah, I met my husband on this dating site, and on our third date, we decided to be together, and we've been together since. I said, well, that sounds wonderful, but what's a dating site? What's dating? I had no idea. I've been married for so long, more than 25 years, I just didn't know what dating was. And she tells me, and I thought, okay, well, we continue conversating and talking. So 6 weeks, 7 weeks after that, I was watching Bob Proctor, and at the time he was not my coach and mentor, but I began to admire him and respect him. So I believed and trusted in what he said. So I took it was an agenda, and on a paper, I drew a big circle, and I put in the middle my husband or my boyfriend. And I began to draw lines out, and I said, well, I'm funny, he better be funny. I love to sing, he better sing. I don't know how to cook, so he better cook. I don't travel, he better travel. I've never built my home, we better build our home together. I want him to make more than $250,000 a year. And I wrote so many things, and I filled up this circle. I closed the notebook and walked away. Then one day, and I don't know the time space because I was not consciously aware of what I was doing, in the sense that I've never done it before. It was like a plaything. And I had this thought, well, go on that dating site. And I thought, okay, I'll go. And to show you the state of mind that I was in at the time was of lack, because they had 3 plans, and I thought, well, I'm such a savvy mother, I'm just going to buy the plan that saves me the most. And I actually bought the whole year. But I was never conscious in the moment that, like, who goes on a dating site for a whole year? Like, why would you be here for a whole year? Do you have a whole year? I had no clue, nothing. Just so you can see how naive I was. And nonetheless, I go on it. The first day, there's over 100 people that some leave messages and some like my pictures, and I felt so overwhelmed. And I thought, what did I get myself into? I said, this is another task. Besides what I have to do in my life, I'm like, this is a lot to do. And I closed the computer and I walked away. In the 2-week interval, there was a man on Facebook, we were not friends, reached out to me. I think my posts were on public. He made comments, and he kept pursuing me. What I have come to realize was that he worked for Trump Hotel as a director in sales and marketing for a period of time. And I thought to myself, oh, well, this is fantastic. This might be the guy. What I have come to realize was that he was so gentle, so emotionally connected. He wanted to be, and always there for me. Like, he would sense the voice, the intonation of my voice, if I was down, if I was up, gifts, and showering me with everything. And I thought, well, this is brilliant. This is fantastic. Of course, we saw each other. It's like, wow, this is such an amazing guy. But there was a side of him that flipped faster than you would flip a switch when things didn't go his way, he would turn into a completely different person. And I thought, oh, but this is not what I wrote down. This is not what I want. So I cut it off. He kept pursuing and struggling with this. And I said, well, this is not working out. I went back on the dating site, and there was a message from this gentleman, and he asked me, are you Russian? And I said, well, that's an interesting way to start a conversation. I'd ignore it. And again, I thought to myself, well, I don't know about this. Forget it. Close the computer. And I believe a little bit later, I went back, and this gentleman again reached out to me. And I thought, well, he's so persistent. I've never checked his profile. And he left me his number. I never call. I never reach out. And I said, well, if you want to reach out to me, here's my number. That day, I believe, or the next day immediately, he calls me. He was in another state at the time. But anyway, I want to see you. Let's go out. We go out. And I think nothing of it. I mean, like literally nothing. I had no judgment of too tall, too skinny, too big, too fat, too much, too little, nothing. I was just, okay, I'm just going, right? Well, he liked me so much that later he told me, and he said, I had a cold when I met you, but if I didn't have the cold, I would have kissed you right there in the parking lot. Well, in the parking lot, what's interesting is that when I turned to go to my car, I saw him go into his car, and he was driving this convertible Mercedes, and I thought, that's interesting. That's it. A few days later, he's asking me if I want to be his girlfriend. And I said, are you asking me or are you telling me what's going on? I was like, man, these things are moving really fast. So he says, no, I'm asking you. And I said, yeah. I had no idea who he was. Still, I had no idea who he was. I mean, we conversated, but he never told me what he was doing and nothing. He was just telling me about his daughter and some of his past life and things like that, but nothing when it came to money or his lifestyle. And when we entered into the relationship, that's when he brought it up. And I've gotten to see how he lived and his lifestyle, and he showed me, his accounts and everything. But that's when I realized, wow, I have manifested a multimillionaire. But the relationship was a rocky relationship, because even though my intention was not to manifest a multimillionaire, and yet I did, I came from lack. So when I was with him, I was struggling with thinking I have to go back home to a different lifestyle. I felt insecure, I felt unworthy. And the more I thought of those thoughts, the more it showed in my relationship with him. There was resistance, there was anxiety. Anxiety turned into depression, depression turned into sadness, and sadness turned into a different attitude. And my attitude was that of, well, I would like him to help me with this, or wouldn't it be nice if we had that? But I couldn't speak because I was afraid to ask. I did not know how to ask. And because I did not know how to ask, I was holding it in. And when I was holding it in, it was showing off in other areas. And so we began to have these shooting arrows like, why are you like that? And why, And then I would say things out loud, like, I want to have this, and he would say, well, no, let's do this first, and that's not important right now, or this and that. So anyway, that's my perspective. And I began to think negative of him because I was holding these things within. I thought, well, if I can't tell it to him, then he must be a bad guy. So you can see how bad our minds think. Well, because of the worry, what if, we actually ended up breaking apart. I made the decision and I said, I don't want to be here anymore. I felt as if I can't allow myself to speak out because I'm afraid or worried, I said, I better not be here. I thought that he was the problem. Well, I come to realize later, obviously, that he was not the problem, that I was the problem. It was my mindset. So while I manifested what I wanted, I couldn't keep it. Because instead of me letting go of my present circumstance and enjoying what I was having so I can rise in consciousness from that to this, I had to let go of that. So the secret to manifesting anything in life is to let go of your present circumstance. Don't keep going home and going back to the good. Don't go to the bad and to the good. You can't be divided, because I was divided within. I divided the relationship. I did it. Even though he held on to me like, I don't know, peanut butter and jelly. To the point where I said something and he said, do you know how many girls would fight to be in this place? Do you know how many women want to be here? And I said, I don't care. It's like, I don't care how many women want to be in my place. The reality is, I don't feel comfortable. It was my mind that wouldn't allow me to be comfortable. It wasn't him. Nonetheless, I want you to understand the reason I'm making myself vulnerable and authentic with you. It's because I want you to see that our minds make it and our minds break it. In business, it works the same way. In my programs, in my business program, that's where I work with CEOs, entrepreneurs, and multimillionaires. And it's funny how that happened, right? Because I come from poverty. I end up working in the financial industry. You know, you meet a multimillionaire, and then it's like, now I'm working with multimillionaires, and not just multimillionaires, but I'm saying how my life progressed. So the bottom line is this: you get anything you want, but can you appreciate it? Do you feel worthy of it? It was not his responsibility to make me feel worthy. It was not his responsibility to buy me the purse I wanted, the shoes I wanted, the fur coat I wanted. It was not his responsibility to make me feel worthy. I did not feel worthy, therefore I couldn't ask for things. I couldn't ask for what I wanted, for what would have made me feel even better. So instead, I just went back in my shell and I caused problems. And you know, a man always likes to know exactly what it is you want. He cannot go through confusion. And you can see how well I was working against myself. I was using everything I had in the present moment against myself. So to feel worthy is to say, well, if I want $1 million right now, what would I do with it? Because money is a tool. And if massages would make you feel good, imagine yourself having massages. If driving a certain car would make you feel good, imagine yourself driving that car. When you feel worthy of these things, before you manifest a multimillionaire or you manifest a luxurious lifestyle, you have to understand, if you don't feel worthy before, you're not going to feel worthy during. The reason we visualize is because we want to become familiar with that. We're not worthy now. When we know that, that's why we want to manifest better and more and evolve. So keep meditating or keep visualizing and become familiar with that new identity of you that has. How would you stand? How would you act? How would you react? What would you be dressed in? Would you love to be dressed like that? How would that make you feel? And when you pretend ahead of time, when that manifestation comes, you're going to match with it and fuse with it because you're ready. So the secret to manifesting anything in life is let go of your present circumstances. Please let go of your present circumstances. Okay? Now, I did manifest him back, but it wasn't the same. Many other things had happened in between. So the secret to manifesting is love yourself enough. Love yourself enough to let go of your present circumstances and hold on to that which you want. Hold on to what you want. Love what you want more than what you love right now. Stop talking about what it is and start talking about what it is that you want to have, because it's coming. It truly is coming because we manifest at all times. So it's 14 minutes in. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you appreciate my story, as vulnerable and as authentic as I am. I'm here to serve. And even though some people say, well, you shouldn't say and you shouldn't expose yourself so much, I believe we connect through emotions and stories. So this story is to show you how to change your mindset before, during, and after. Thank you so much for watching. Remember that every worker is worthy of his desire, of his reward. So this work of flipping the switch from not having to having has to be done on a constant basis. When it's done on a constant basis, guess what? You're worthy. You're worthy of the reward because you've put in the work. So I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.